friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So we will continue our discussion on the lines. So a quick recap of all what we have studied so far. Lines get formed by the third month in the womb, and the basic reason which can be ascribed to the formation of the lines can be given to 3 points. One is the soul, like the way it has been believed in spirituality that the soul carries the accumulated karmas from the past lives. Second could be given to the genetics, like the way a child carry certain personality traits inherited from his parents, the heredity. And third remains to be the fetal influence, fetal environment, what all kind of the influence a mother has got and at the time of the conception. So these remains to be 3 primary reasons for the formation of these lines. These lines tell about not only about our talents, about our personality traits, but the specific events of the life. The details of the life can be decoded by studying and scrutinizing these lines. And the primary principle which is followed in order to check these lines are: first remains to be the origin of the line, second remains to be the termination of the line, third remains to be the forks going out from the lines or from other lines coming and joining that line which is in consideration, and lastly the presence of the signs and symbols. So this is how a line gets scrutinized. Now coming to this line in particular, the headline. So what all remains to be the types, and what all remains to be the the signification which we can get to know by studying the headline. So the first thing which you people need to know is that a person's mental intelligence is seen from the headline. The length of the headline tells about our intelligence. The shape of the headline tells about our way of thinking, and lastly the clarity of the line tells about the headline tells about our ability to concentrate and focus. And the overall, when it comes to the overall scrutinization, and in a nutshell, headline tells about our capacity of learning, our ability to adapt to changing circumstances, our power of memory, our ability to exert self-control. And that is the only reason, because of all these reasons accumulatedly, the headline in Hindu palmistry is been ascribed as the line of wealth, the Dhan Rekha. Because if our mind is in a right state, we would be able to make proper use of it and acquire not only good education but also acquire a good amount of wealth. So on this headline, the discussion on headline, I have segregated in different aspects. Like in this video, we are going to study the headline, the quality of the headline. So what all are the kind of the different types of the headline which you can spot in someone's hand, on the basis of the quality. So the first remains to be, when you'll find the headline in someone's palm to be deep and clear. So this is the best formation for the headline to be. So this just tells about someone who someone who is very confident, someone who is very self-reliant, someone who has got very enhanced memory. And like the way I have explained this thing, that when it comes to checking the headlines, so the headline, the initial point, the origin of the headline, which is here close to the thumb, this tells about someone's youth, early childhood. This at the middle of the headline tells about someone's youth. So this point, if you'll find the headline to be very deep and clear right from the beginning and unafflicted from any of the negative signs, so this just tells about someone who would have a very well and very good childhood memories. And let's say if you'll just find the headline to be curving down deep on the mount of the moon, which is the domain of our subconscious thinking. So this could even mean that a deep and clear line curving on the mount of the moon just tells about someone who would have a very good photographic memories. So in a nutshell, deep and clear headline is the best formation, which tells about someone who is like very confident, self-reliant, enhanced memory, and very realistic approach towards thinking, and very steadfast in his all the goals which he set. He would not be like very wavering and very fickle when it comes to his commitment and when it comes to his ability to understand and comprehend things. So that remains to be the first case. Second is, when you'll find the the headline to be thin and clear, this just tells about someone who doesn't have very good mental stamina, someone who would have very delicate mental power, whose his mind shouldn't be overstrained too much, because I'm very soon going to make a video on the insanity. So when it comes to, and that is primary seen from the condition of the headline along with other combinations. So it has been it has been said everywhere that if someone doesn't have the capacity to handle stress, if we will just put too much of pressure on this person, whether it comes to the family pressure, whether it comes to the pressure related to his work, and where he has to overexert his mental efforts, either the person is going to go insane by himself, or he's just going to make other life people around him to be completely full of troubles and full of miseries. So this is how this is the kind of signification which we can expect if we find the headline to be thin and clear. It just tells about delicate mental strength, and someone who shouldn't be over exerted too much when it comes to his mental capabilities. Third condition remains to be third type of the quality of the headline remains to be broad and shallow. So what do I mean by that? Like the way when I was introducing this concept, I related this concept of the lines with the electric wires or the river beds. So the broad and shallow lines tells about where the capacity of the channel is not in sync with the kind of energy, the flow of energy flowing through it. So it just tells about energy going haywire. So broad and shallow headline tells about those people who doesn't have the capacity to concentrate. They find it difficult in making decisions, and they cannot, their decisions and their ability to take all the major decisions of their life cannot be trusted, and even the people around them never trust their judgments, their decision, because of too much of wariness in their thought process and their judgments. So a broad and shallow line could be found like this. And let's say if this line will be broad compared to the other major lines of the hand, so this would just increase and accentuate all those qualities just explained by me. So that remains to be the third criteria when the headline is of broad and shallow quality. Fourth remains to be when you find the condition of the quality of the headline to be in a ladder-like formation. So what do I mean by ladder-like? Something like this. So this just tells about someone who is like very sensitive, whose thinking process is too vulnerable, because these ladder-like formation could also be related as the mental shocks. So this person would remain to be very vulnerable, very sensitive towards even the smaller events of the life. Like the way we can say that someone who would have a proper, deep and clear headline, he might even take the too intense unpleasing events of his life with full of fortitude. But when it comes to this person, even the smaller of the unpleasing events of his life would completely shatter him. So this is how we can just relate and and decode a ladder-like headline, which just tells about sensitivity and too much of the vulnerability towards any of the happenings of the event of the life. So this would just tell about someone who would take the events of the life in a very harder way. And next is uneven line. So let's say if you have spotted the headline something like this. What I mean by uneven is somewhere the line is deep and clear, somewhere the line is thin, and somewhere the line has gone completely missing. So like the way I have been explaining you people that a headline needs to be decoded, headline needs to be scrutinized. First of all, the overall length of the headline needs to be taken into consideration, needs to be checked. Secondly, it should be scrutinized in smaller intervals. So wheresoever you will just find the headline to be deep and clear, this would just indicate the time when the person could just think about starting his business, and even if the person wants to acquire new education, new skill, so that period would remain to be very promising, very auspicious. But if you time the line, and at that age where the line has gone thin, so that remains to be the time, and the person remains to be very watchful. And wheresoever the line has gone completely missing, the person remains to be proper doing proper meditation, doing proper introspection without taking any major decisions of his life. This is the only use of any of the meta science, whether it's numerology, astrology and palmistry, that we should able to foresee the our vulnerable times in advance, and would be able to take proper measure to counter those weak areas and the weaker times where we remain too vulnerable towards the losing to the opportunities which life could offer us. So when it comes to uneven line, wherever the line is well formed, the person could think about taking major decisions. Where the line has gone missing, the person would have very varying mental capabilities, the person would remain to be very vulnerable, and he needs to do proper introspection without taking any major decisions. Last, in the kind of the quality of the headline which you can spot in someone's hand is when the line is to be of chained shape. This is the most vulnerable. It would be spotted something like this, like you will just find something like this, one island after another. So like the way this concept of lines has been related and measured with the electric wires, or let's say even with the flow of the energy. So this is a kind of formation which is posing maximum obstacle, maximum hindrance for the energy to flow in the hand. And just because the energy would not be able to flow, so this would just make someone very timid, very sensitive, neurotic tendencies, vulnerability towards mental depression, and these people, even their imagination would remain to be far away from the reality. So this is the worst case when it comes to checking the condition of the headline. This person should be advised to do proper yoga, proper meditation as well. If this line is being afflicted, and if this line is in conjunction with a deformed thumb, and let's say the fate line is also wavering, then this person would remain to be very vulnerable and very much vulnerable and very much on the radar in terms of taking wrong decisions in their life. So this is how analysis is done. In this video we have checked the quality of the headline. In further videos we will discuss all other aspects of the headline. I hope I made myself very clear in this video. For further more updates and notification on palmistry, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.